The National Association of Realtors just put out a study that they believe that by the end of 2026, effectively 300,000 agents are going to give up their license, which is a little bit over a 20% drop in real estate agents in 2026. Now, I posted this on my Facebook account just as a post, talking a little bit about it, and I got a couple of responses that I'd like to address just in general. One of the sentiments that I got from a lot of agents when I said that 300,000 are effectively leaving the business was that they were like, hey, good riddance. Essentially, that's good for me. Like, the less agents that are in the business, the more money I'm going to make. And a little bit of a sentiment of, well, you know, if they're quitting the business because they're having a slightly off year, maybe they shouldn't be in the real estate game to begin with. And I totally disagree with that sentiment for a few different reasons. First of all, in my opinion, you should never be thinking about your business, you building your business and being successful in relation to whether or not there are too many agents or too few agents, or you shouldn't be reliant on essentially being the only real estate agent in the business, right? And you shouldn't be happy for others that are doing poorly. The second reason that I disagree with it is because part of that sentiment was essentially that people were talking about how, well, you know, that's going to get rid of like the lower level agents that maybe should never have gotten licensed. Maybe there should be higher standards to become a realtor. Okay. However, and what I've seen over the past few years with transactions being down is that it's not just the newer or lower level or part-time producing agents that are quitting. I've seen at least close to as many of full-time agents quitting. And if you think about it logically, it actually makes a lot of sense. Because if you're an agent, let's say you're a full-time agent and you sell between 8 and 20 houses a year, right? And let's say you're accustomed to living off of the money that 8 to 20 houses a year might pay you. And then all of a sudden, you have a 40% drop in your sales, which can literally happen to any of us. Like, I don't care how good you think you are. I don't care how much you prepared. All it takes is a change in mortgage rates, a change in the economy, a couple of your buyers flaking, a couple of your sellers flaking, prices to decrease a little bit. It's not fully, you know, within our control. So to have the sentiment that it's a good thing that agents are leaving the business, and to have the sentiment that it's only part-time people leaving the business is, to me, it's not correct. And it's not something that I believe that most realtors should even be thinking about. But I do want to address, like I said in the post, like, what is the main reason that all of these agents are leaving? And on the surface, the main reason would be obvious, that they're not making enough money to survive, right? They're looking at their realtor dues and they're looking at their transactions and they're saying, hey, you know what, maybe it's a better idea for me to give up my license and get a full-time job or to do something completely different. That's on the surface, right? That their transactions, their retail transactions have gone down. But to me, it's more related to the fact that agents have not protected themselves from down years. And let me ask you, like, if you're listening to this right now, could you survive 1 or 2 years if your transactions went down 50%? And if the answer to that is no, my recommendation that I've been recommending for over 10 plus years now is for agents to diversify their income away from just selling houses, just traditional buyers and sellers, by being an agent investor. And really quickly, what does that look like? Well, that means that if you're going to become an agent investor, you're going to focus a little bit more on sellers. You're going to do a couple of fix and flip deals a year, and then you're going to invest that money passively to have long-term passive income. Now, if you've been an agent investor for a year or 2 years, you could easily double your income just by doing a couple of flips and buying one rental property. I was actually reached out to on Friday night by Tyler Scaglione, who's been an agent of mine, who's been with me for a very long time. He's an investor, he's a friend, and he's a new dad, actually. And he reached out to me, he said, thank you so much for encouraging me to buy the 4-family in Peabody that I now own. And he said that he's had a little bit of a rough year. Transactions are down, which they're down for most people. And he said, not only do I live in that 4-family for free, but I'm positive cash flow $2,000 a month off of one property that he bought maybe 5 or 6 years ago. So that's a perfect example of somebody now who's an agent investor who doesn't have to, not that he's not worried. We're all worried if our transactions go down, but he's not overly concerned. He's not quitting real estate because he is an agent investor, right? And that one, I mean, he does more than just that. So I don't want to minimize what Tyler does. And Tyler's a young, working, hard man. I don't want to minimize the other stuff he's done, but just by having that one investment, he's pretty much bulletproofed himself forever, right? So think about like the position that you would be in as an agent if you lived for free, you had no mortgage, no rent, and you had $2,000 a month passively coming in. Now, Tyler does all the rest as well. He focuses on sellers, he books listing appointments, he flips some properties, and he holds some properties. And that's really the name of the game, right? And again, those 300 agents, you can say whatever you want, but to me, those 300 agents, if you wanted to leave the industry because you don't like real estate, I get no issue with that. Some people don't like real estate. But if you left the industry because you just had a bad year, I'm sorry, that sucks. And I do want to call out the people that are happy that those people have left. Because guess what? That could be you next year. That could be you the year after, right? So my advice to everybody who's listening, the 300 people who are thinking about leaving, and the other people who may not even know that they're at risk of needing to leave at some point in the future, bulletproof your income. Diversify your income away from just being an agent. Work with buyers, work with sellers. Focus a little bit of your time every day on sellers. And in fact, I've got an event coming up, how to find sellers and fix and flip deals in 2 minutes or less per day. You can register for that at www.agentinvestorevent.com. At the event, I'm going to be showing you, as an agent investor, how you can focus a little bit more of your time on sellers. Not saying don't work with your buyers, but spend a couple minutes here, a couple minutes there, focused on getting sellers every single day. Convert some of those into listings, convert a couple of those into flips, use the flips, use the big chunks of income for flips to pay down bills, and then eventually to build passive income by investing in long-term assets. And all of a sudden, in a year or two, when you have a really down year, even if you're down 50%, guess what? You won't have to be one of those 300 people, if you don't want to be. So again, become an agent investor, learn how to become an agent investor. And at the event, I'll actually be talking about how our company is going to be giving seller appointments to agents that qualify for our agent partnership. So yes, we'll actually be giving agents seller appointments. If they go out there, they take them, they convert them, and if they turn into a flip, we will split the profits 50-50. Learn how to do that by going to www.agentinvestorevent.com. Thanks for tuning in, and stop hating. Don't be excited when other people fail. Make your own path.